Everybody, Lieutenant Joe Pangaro here for Hope is Not a Tactic, the school safety and security show brought to you by Riot Tint. All right, riottint.com. They make safety glazing for glass. Excellent product. Every school, every business, every location needs to have it on their glass, on their at least their front doors and back doors, if not the entire first floor, second floor, every place you have glass. Blue 360 Media, the publishers of my books, and soon to be the location where you can find online school safety and security training, and medicalessentialdiagnostics.com. They're in New Jersey. If you work for any kind of government entity in New Jersey, you and two adults can get screened, health screened at no cost to you. Find out if there's something wrong. Stay healthy. Okay, so we have talked about lots of different safety and security concerns here. And one of the ones that I wanted to discuss was there's a lot of different programs out there talking about what you can do in the event of a dangerous emergency. Do you flee? Do you run? Do you leave the building? And the thinking, hey, if the shooter's in the building, get out of the building, right? That kind of thing. And there's some thought to that. There's some idea about that. Other people say lock down. That's your number one thing. But of course, if you're outside and the shooter's inside, you should continue to go. Don't go back in the building. But if you see danger approaching, inside the school is probably your safest place unless you have a place to flee. So the whole idea is called multi-optional responses. What I see lots of districts do is that they come up with a policy. It's a good policy, but it only has one flavor. If there's a shooter in the building, you'll do this. If there's a shooter outside, you'll do this. And there's not a lot of room for people on scene to make independent judgments, to do a situational analysis and decide it would be better if we flee out of here than if we lock down. Because if you do something other than policy, we all know if somebody gets hurt, there's a problem, there's going to be lawsuits, you're going to have a problem. So the best way to address that is to have multi-optional responses to things when they happen. So this way you train your staff to recognize what's going on. What is this? What kind of an emergency is it? And what is the best thing for me to do with these students to keep everybody safe? All right. So do you have rally points? Right? Do you have rally points? What's a rally point? Well, say everyone, you told everyone to evacuate, get out of the building, get out, everybody get out wherever you can. Do you want these kids running in every single direction? What if you're near highways? What if you're near rivers and creeks and what there's woods? And what if you have little kids? Do you want them running just wherever they can and taking off and going in different directions? They may have to do that initially to get away from the danger, but then people have to be able to regroup and come to someplace to show up somewhere so that we can find everybody. We can account for everybody. We can help anyone who's injured. So rally points are things that you would go outside your building, walk around and identify where could people go where they would be safe, right? Now, if you have woods, do you have a trail cleaned out and cleared so that that's rally point A? And everyone would go to that trail. And at the other end of the trail, maybe there's a neighborhood where you could get police to you, you could get ambulances to you, you can get school buses to you, get everybody on and get them out of there. Maybe rally point B is through another area into a big parking lot 2 blocks away, and that's where everybody meets. You put up a little sign out there, A, a B, a C, as many as you're going to have, and then when you evacuate, part of your evacuation should be evacuate, 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 rally point C, right? And that tells everybody that you've made the decision based on situational analysis that the safest place to be is that way outside of the building to that parking lot that's 1.5 blocks away, whatever it is. And they know to go there. So even if everybody runs initially in different directions, they know they should be over there by rally point C and they work their way back over there. You train the kids to do this. You train them to listen for it. Now, when you evacuate, you're going to have obviously staff going with many of these kids, even if they're just bolting out the door, if they have to run that frantically. But they would be able to guide kids. C, rally point C, that's what you tell them. And they all know where C is. You show them, you teach them. This is training. We can do this. Our kids can do this. Rally point C, rally point B, whatever it is. They go to that area and they can be found, they can be attended to, they can be cared for. All right, so Having multi-optional responses is the key. So say a teacher is in a room and they're teaching, doing their thing, and then they hear gunfire and they hear the call to lockdown, 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 lockdown. But it's one of these classrooms that has a back door that goes out to the outside of the building. Now, I know a lot of kindergartners' rooms have that, right? For the little kids, they have a door that goes out in many school districts. That teacher should be able to evaluate where is the danger. Maybe it would be safer to get them kids and get out of there and go out that door. But is the teacher capable of running with a bunch of little kids, right? Who are scared, don't know what to do, and they have to go, how far is the distance? Do they have to go a half a mile across an open field, sports fields? That might not be safe. Do they have to go through woods that doesn't have a trail? Probably not safe. So the teacher needs to evaluate what happens. Say the teacher has a door that doesn't lock properly. Oh no, Lieutenant Joe, that would never happen. Ask your teachers. Happens every time I go to schools. I find doors that have been reported 40 times and they're never repaired. And I don't mean 40 times, that's being facetious, but they've reported it several times and the door is not repaired. So these teachers know they don't have a lockable door and they're very nervous. It would be nice if they had an option that, since I can't lock my door, maybe I'll take off and go out. And then you train them on these various things, right? You don't just say, well, you decide what to do. You look at it, you evaluate it with your security people and the local police and decide if this door can't lock and somebody's coming, if they're shooting, depending on where the shooting is in the school, what would you want this teacher to have an option to do? Take off, hope for the best, block the doors, whatever, and then out the door they go. All right, so the concept of multi-optional responses is something you should work into your emergency operations plans. Have rally points, practice, drill, 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 as they say. All right, so I wanted to cover that with everybody today. Thank you for being here. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your other friends about it. Reach out to me and tell me what you want to talk about. What's your concerns about school safety and security? And I'll be happy to address them here on Hope Is Not a Tactic. See you next time.